Good morning and welcome to the Cedral Brief Episode 1. It is June 8th, 2026, and this is the first episode of the Cedral Brief. I really wanted to start this podcast as sort of an add-on to Cedral Advisory, which is designed to help businesses and individuals utilize AI and blockchain in their everyday lives. And so the real purpose of the Cedral Brief is whether you're a business, you're an individual, or you're just a fan of either of these forms of technology, that is AI or blockchain, and you want to learn a little bit more, I'm hoping that the Cedral Brief can serve that purpose for you. So on this podcast, we're going to be talking about a couple of different things: crypto prices, AI, new installments of different variations of AI technology, and really just everything about those markets. I might talk about some traditional markets as well. I might just ramble. I like to ramble. I got a tendency to do that, which you will soon find out. And so basically, in this podcast, my goal is to just deliver my audience some 15-minute, 30-minute episodes where they can just learn a little bit and just kind of zone and tune out, because that's what I like to do when I listen to podcasts, and I hope I can accomplish that for you all. So today we're going to start with a little bit of crypto prices. So Bitcoin is currently trading at $63,722. That is US dollars, or as the crypto maxis like to put it, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Ethereum is $1,681, and Solana is $66.74. A little bit of a rebound from the past couple of days. Monday opened today decently. Markets have been decent so far this morning. And crypto is in a really bad spot. Fear and greed is 8. I am bullish as always. I will forever be bullish. There's a lot of bearish sentiment currently because of a lot of different stuff. I think Saylor selling 32 Bitcoin last week gave the market a spook, which is actually unfathomable, considering they bought 1,500 more at some point. That was disclosed this morning via Saylor on X. So if you were one of those people who sold Bitcoin because you saw MicroStrategy dumped 32 of their 800,000 plus Bitcoin stash, I feel very sorry for you, because they purchased 1,500 more and they probably purchased the Bitcoin that you sold. This is yet another example of big institutions taking advantage of the little guys. BlackRock did the exact same thing last week, buying $50 million worth of probably the Bitcoin that you sold after holding it for 10 years. It's really a sad thing. We see it all the time in the crypto markets, and you've been had and took by the big guys yet again. In the AI space, it's kind of a little more of the same. We're all eagerly awaiting the release of ChatGPT 5.6. I myself am thrilled for this, as I'm not sure if OpenAI is using their compute to train 5.6 or get it ready for actual retail use, because my instances of both OpenClaw and Hermes have gotten significantly dumber over the past couple of weeks, both using 5.5. So I am very eager to see 5.6. I'm hoping it can pick up some of the slack, understandably, that 5.5 has left. And I'm hoping to start cooking with oil again. I mean, Anthropic is absolutely fumbling the bag. They're a fortune. You can't use Opus for pretty much everything. I myself am a massive Opus fan, but it would cost me thousands of dollars literally a week if I used Opus the same way that I use GPT. And I'm a power user of AI, so it's like that total tallies up very fast. Shout out to OpenAI for doing a fantastic job making it affordable and usable by everybody. One of the things I want to talk about a little bit today is I want to give Microsoft their flowers. I know Microsoft catches a lot of flack, rightfully so, and from myself, for being behind the curve as it pertains to AI. They boast Copilot, which is a great tool, especially for enterprises who are currently in the Office 365 stack. It is a phenomenal tool, but it pales in comparison to most of the other tools that are out there, particularly Claude for Office 365. They do what Copilot does better than Copilot does, in my opinion. But one of the things that Microsoft is doing that I got to give them credit for is they don't seem to be chasing that frontier LLM that all of the other big providers are. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, they're all trying to one-up each other with the new release of their frontier model. Microsoft is kind of taking a back seat to that. One of the things that they're doing is they seem to be preparing for the customized age as it pertains to AI in the future that we are going to see. And I tweeted about this earlier. If you don't follow me. It's at TySargeX on X. And I tweeted about giving Microsoft their flowers. And I said that This thesis kind of coincides with the open source thesis that I'm seeing from a lot of people, a lot of key opinion leaders in the AI space. And a lot of the general consensus among these individuals is that pretty soon it's all going to be open source. It's all going to be local. You're not going to have the need to use Opus insert model number when the open source model that you can download straight to your computer is almost as good, or is as good as Opus was months prior to the new release of whatever model. And I think this is right. I think we are not far away from a day and age where the open source models that are out are outstanding. They can run your agents as good as the frontier models. And once AI literacy increases, which it will happen, retail will start to get more and more knowledgeable about AI. And one of the things they will realize is, well, I'm just going to actually purchase my own hardware and I'm going to run my own models because I don't need to be paying X amount for the Max OpenAI subscription or X amount for the Max Claude subscription plus the API costs that they gouge your eyes out with. And people will just be running models locally. I think we're a long way away from that from the average user. I mean, I would consider the average AI user right now, at least in the United States, to be someone who uses ChatGPT as a chatbot or Gemini as a chatbot. They really don't understand at all what it is capable of. I would say the next step up from that is business users, so to speak. So individuals who are working for a company and they use Claude in their day-to-day workflow. They're familiar with its capabilities, but they are not familiar with AI's capabilities as a whole. There are months, I would say months behind of people who are on the quote cutting edge, perhaps more than that. And so I'm not sure how long it's going to be, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. I got no idea. But at a certain point, local AI will probably be what everyone is using. And with that, I think Microsoft, with MAI doing a decent job trying to tune models rather than just grow the model to be the biggest and the baddest, tune models specifically for custom enterprise needs. And I think that coincides with the local thesis, especially when you consider the fact that all of these companies, or most of them, are using the Microsoft stack already. It'll be a seamless integration into their workflow. That's what Copilot does, but it doesn't do a very good job of it. And I think that when the day and age comes that, let's just say that AI is more multidimensional and easier for retail to understand, I could absolutely see Microsoft sort of picking up the slack that they have left for themselves by lagging OpenAI, Anthropic, Google in the AI race. So it's kind of cool. Maybe this is a way that Microsoft saves their skin. I'm not sure, but I think that it's completely possible. I think we're going to be in a very different world in 6 months to a year in the AI space. And that's not just going for frontier models and frontier providers and the big guys. I think that at a certain point, decentralized AI will catch on, and I think it will catch on relatively quick, comparatively to its market size, that is, its market share. And what I mean by that is networks like Akash, for example, which I use all the time. I'm currently utilizing multiple different providers on Akash. I use it for Cedral AI. If you don't know what Cedral AI is, go check it out. Cedral.ai. It's a private, tailored workspace for businesses and individuals to just have a customized work experience with AI rather than logging onto Claude or ChatGPT and just getting the same old cookie cutter user experience. You get your own real tailored user experience, and you also control the context, which is important. You can add or delete context at any time. And there's a lot more to it. Go check it out. That's my shameless plug of Cedral AI. But so I use Akash all the time. I use Akash directly for Cedral AI for the dedicated agent. So users can have a independent Hermes instance that's connected to their Cedral portal. Hermes, of course, lives on an Akash provider's machine. So that's big. I love Akash, and I think that once people start to understand and Akash starts to kind of grow its, I'll say, user experience, for lack of a better word. Like right now, they have the agents.akash.network, I think is the URL. Don't quote me on that, but you essentially can one-click launch an agent on Akash through Telegram. You can launch a Hermes or OpenClaw agent. You can pick your LLM. One of the things that I wish Akash would do, especially with Akash ML, is offer more models. They currently only offer a few. And I'm curious as to why. Venice is a company that is just pounding out models right now. They're doing an unreal job. Just anytime there's a new model release, it's on Venice within minutes, which is incredible. I think Akash could really work to close that gap with Akash ML, but that's neither here nor there. Agents.akash.network, you can launch essentially one touch your own agent. And I think as Akash starts to grow in that regard, they will gain some mainstream adoption. And like I said, it doesn't take much relative to its market share / market cap. It's not going to take that many users to start to see that kind of exponential growth. And so really all they have to do is tap into, honestly, kind of people like me. I'm not a very technologically sound individual. I really don't know much, to be candid with you. I have no computer science background. I have no programming background. I got into crypto in 2023. So I was even late to that game. I got into AI like a year and a half ago, and really only for the last 6 months have I started to really pay attention and try to learn more. So I'm not that far off from retail. You have like subject matter experts, like the actual builders who are incredible. Then you have, I'd say, people who have been in the space for years and are very knowledgeable, but are kind of like me. They don't have a programming background. And then you have like the people like me who have learned a ton and know a lot comparatively to the regular person, but comparatively to the experts, still has a long way to go. And so companies like Akash have already reached me. Won't be long until they reach people closer down the spectrum, on the left side of the spectrum. And once they do, I think they're going to see massive success because they're going to give retail the opportunity that they don't currently have. For example, right now, most people's AI experience is downloading Claude Desktop and poking away at Claude, which is great. That's a phenomenal way to start. That's pretty much how I started months ago. And that's kind of where retail is at, or I would say the more informed version of retail. That's where they're at. And companies like Akash give people the ability to seamlessly launch their own agents and delete them and add them and, you know, do it over and over and over again at virtually no cost. I mean, right now, if you were to deploy on Akash an agent, I mean, it would cost you $5 a month to actually run, to pay the provider. And then, I mean, your API costs through Akash ML, because it's all open source models, is virtually free, unless you're going to be hammering usage. And even then, you might be looking at $15 a month, $20 a month, like to have an actual personal autonomous agent that runs 24/7. So that's what decentralization gives you. I guess to kind of come full circle now as this AI narrative progresses, I think right around the time that we are at where local AI becomes a little bit more mainstream and kind of the stuff that Microsoft's doing becomes a little bit more mainstream, I think that's around the same time Akash will become a little bit more mainstream, or companies like Akash. And so, yeah, I think that's the direction we're heading. That's an exciting direction because it gives individuals freedom. It's the beautiful thing about crypto. It's the beautiful thing about AI as designed by, let's call them the decentralizers, Akash, Venice, individuals who are taking the not enterprise, but the big guy out of it and kind of giving the power to the little guy. That their decentralizing of this technology is freedom, because everyone has access to super intelligence, affordable super intelligence. It's not controlled by anybody. It's private if you're using Venice. And then when Akash rolls out trusted execution environments, you're going to have end-to-end encryption. And it's really, really powerful stuff. Everyone deserves this. And yeah, I mean, I think it's hugely important going forward. It's exciting stuff. I love freedom. I love people who have access to freedom, or I love that people have access to freedom. And this technology does that. So it's something I love to be passionate about. It's a good thing to be passionate about. You know, I hold Akash, I hold Venice, I invest in all this stuff, but I don't just do it because I want to see number go up. That's obviously important, but I actually feel like I'm owning stake in sort of a revolution, which is a little cheesy, but that's how I feel. So it's good stuff. Yeah, I guess I'll kind of, this is 15 minutes. I guess I'll kind of close it too with just a little bit about Cedral Advisory, Cedral AI, and then this new podcast that I'm doing, the Cedral Brief, again, which hopefully serves as a way to funnel people to Cedral AI, Cedral Advisory, because it is the business I built. But it also, I'd like for it to serve as just an outlet for individuals to get unbiased news from people like them. Like I said, I'm pretty close to retail. I don't want to do myself a disservice. Not that there's anything wrong with being retail, but I don't want to do myself a disservice and discredit myself for the knowledge that I do have. But I do want to make that point that AI, blockchain, that's an intimidating thing for a lot of people. And if I can learn it, anybody can learn it. That I promise you. So yeah, I really want to be that voice with this. And that's kind of the goal of Cedral Advisory as well, because there are people out there who know a ton more than me, infinite more than me, especially like in the local AI space when you start talking about hardware and, man, how to do all that you got to do to successfully run in a serious way AI locally. Those people know way, 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 way more than me. But I can still provide a service to a lot of people because I have a lot of knowledge and I also know how the regular person thinks. I think there's power in that, because a lot of the experts, the subject matter experts, don't do a good job communicating their theses to retail. I mean, just take crypto, for example. Nobody wants to use crypto because of all the scams and all the nonsense that has gone on and continues to go on in that space. And it does such a disservice for companies like Akash, for example. And I commend Greg Osori a ton for coming out and saying this, that people don't want to be using crypto. They want to use a good product. And if the rails are crypto, that's great. And he's absolutely right. And one of the things that I think the crypto space lacks is a voice like myself who is willing to and able take sort of complex topics and break them down into a palatable experience for the retail user. I try to do that. I don't always succeed, but I think sometimes I do. And it's really important because people don't want to use crypto. Anytime you say crypto, you lose them because A, they think you're chasing the bag. You're not actually trying to provide a service. And B, a lot of them still associate it with drugs. They think it's like a sketchy, guy in a guy cloaked in a hood in a dark room on his laptop type scene, which honestly it still is in some ways. And so that's one of the missions of Cedral Advisory is to help onboard retail users, because this space isn't going to go anywhere without that. That's what we need to actually go to the moon, as everybody likes to say. And I don't think we're far off from that. I think once products start to be normalized as products, not crypto products, I think that's when we'll start to get somewhere. And Venice AI does this phenomenally well. And that Eric Voorhees says this many times. Venice is a consumer product, and he's absolutely right. It's an objectively good consumer product. And when you have that, users will come, users will flow, like money will flow, like all that stuff works. It's not a crypto project. You're using a good project that's, in Venice's case, built on sound, really cool tokenomics, and uses crypto-esque services. I think they still use Akash. They might not. They used Akash for a long time. I know they use Near. They use a lot of crypto projects that use crypto to decentralize services and create great products. And so that's kind of the goal of Cedral. Cedral wants to also do that. I would like to onboard as many regular people as I possibly can to both AI and blockchain, businesses, regular businesses to AI and blockchain. I mean, if you could only see what mainstream everyday businesses are doing for AI implementation. If it makes my head spin, anybody who knows more than me, and there's a lot of you out there, it would make your head pop off because it is so elementary and it is just like they're missing the forest for the trees. It's just bad. It's bad news. And so there needs to be an outlet like this educating people. And that's the goal of Cedral Advisory. That's the goal of the Cedral Brief. And that's the goal of Cedral AI. Cedral AI is trying to take Venice privacy, essentially. It's built on Venice, the services of Akash, dedicated agent, really complex AI crypto stuff. And it's trying to unite it with retail people with a seamless user experience, privacy, and something that's tailored to them. If you have a personal account, once you upload your profile picture, you choose how you want your appearance of your workspace to look, and you start uploading personal information, it feels like yours. It almost feels like a social media page. And it feels good to use that. It feels like a place you want to go, The LLM knows you. You control what it knows about you, but it knows you, and then the dedicated agent's the same. It knows you even better. So that's episode 001 of the Cedral Brief. That is kind of the thesis for Cedral Advisory, Cedral AI. And man, if you're watching this, thank you. If you made it through 20 minutes, thank you so much. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, Cedral Advisory YouTube channel, as well as the Cedral Brief on Spotify. It's probably the only place episodes will be for now. But give it a like. I don't really know what you do on Spotify, if you comment or subscribe or whatever on Spotify, but do all that stuff. Follow me on X, Ty Sargex, I think it is. Follow Cedral Advisory, Cedral AI on X, and follow the Cedral Brief on X. Cedral's growing. It's growing fast. Not really, but it's going to grow fast, I promise. So if you're watching, thank you. Stay tuned for episode 002, and Godspeed and have a great day.